This is the Solid Signal podcast for the week of January 22nd, 2024. And folks, extreme weather is here. It is wintertime. And whether extreme weather for you means the kind of rain they get in Southern California or temperatures of 20 below zero in other parts of the country, it still isn't fun. We can laugh at those folks who have different ideas of extreme weather than we do, but the fact is we all have to deal with it. And that's the subject of this week's podcast. Extreme weather and what you have to know to get through it if you've got satellite television. Let's talk about rain first. And, honestly, like I said, there's a large portion of this country where severe weather means rain. And that's perfectly okay too. If you live in a place that is most of the time going to be sunny, you might not really be aware of the idea of rain fade. Rain fade happens to satellite TV now and again. It still only happens a little bit less than 1% of the time, nationwide, which means that if you live somewhere where it rarely rains, you might not ever experience it until you get a pretty heavy downpour. When that does happen, all of a sudden you're going to see errors on the screen. You're going to see the screen freezing up, and one of two things is going to happen. If you have Dish, what's going to happen is that you're just going to get a message that there's signal loss, and you have options. You can watch something from your playlist if you have a DVR. You can stream. You can read a book. And honestly, none of these are terribly bad options, but you can't watch live satellite television until the skies clear up. When things get better, the signal will automatically come back, and you don't need to do anything to fix it. If there is a need to run a check switch test by, pushing the system info button on the front of the receiver, look, it sometimes happens, but it's very, very rare. And you can find tutorials on the Solid Signal blog on how to run a check switch on pretty much any Dish device. If you've got DirecTV, things are a little bit better for you because DirecTV has something called Signal Saver, which, as long as you are connected to the internet, it will automatically switch to the streaming version of the channel you're watching in a slightly lower resolution and with slightly limited ability to back up and go forward, but you'll still be able to watch television. You can keep Signal Saver open by itself for a couple of hours, not much more than that, and it will automatically get turned off if you change the channel. If you're still in a thunderstorm or something like that, well, it'll come back on that channel. You'll see a little message on screen saying that Signal Saver is there to make sure that you can continue watching. Now, what if you have snow or extremely cold temperatures? Now, it's already the winter, so please do not do this winter. It's already too late for it. However, if you live where it snows, you can get something called a dish heater. They're sold at solidsignal.com, and it's a very simple stick-on affair that you can do yourself most of the time without even having to take the dish down, so you don't have to re-aim it. And you put it on either the front or the back of the dish. I think it looks better if it's on the back of the dish, but if you do that, you have to take the dish off. And that connects to a low power source, and automatically when things start to get snowy, it will turn on that heater. It won't use electricity unless it's on, and it will melt the snow that is on the dish itself. And so really the only thing you'd have to worry about is snow buildup on the LNB, and that's pretty rare. I've seen people kind of go at it with a leaf blower or something like that when the rare times that it does happen, but not a big deal. As I said, please do not go up on your roof to put on a dish heater when it is cold or icy or anything dangerous. Don't say some guy on the internet said it was a good idea, because it is not a good idea. There is no television program that is worth breaking your neck for. Trust me. However, it's something you should consider once it gets nice and warm and dry. If you have a heavy snowstorm, you may see a signal loss on your satellite dish, and it's the same two options. With Dish, you can watch something on your DVR. With DirecTV, it will automatically switch to Signal Saver if you're connected over the internet. And you do have to, by the way, I should tell you, you have to have a Genie system in order to do that. If you have one of the older systems, it's not going to do that for you. You're pretty much in the same boat that the Dish folks are at that point. So what about when the dish gets really, really cold? This is something that we have seen a lot the last week or so. It's just this simple. Electronic components have a range that they actually work on. Anything with a battery is most of the time going to stop working about 10 degrees below zero, period, because the battery itself just also has a range to it and it's not going to work. But even if it's something that doesn't have a battery like a satellite dish, there is the possibility that you are going to lose signal if it gets below about 10 to 15 below zero, even if it's a nice, bright, sunny day. These devices have to have some limitation to how cold and how hot it can get. I got to tell you, it's not going to make you feel any better, but for those who are in the extreme heat in the summer, when things get over about 120 degrees, you have the same problem. If you get a report that your dish is not working, if you have signal loss, and it's a nice sunny day, but it's extremely cold, 10 degrees below zero or what have you, do not worry. Same things are going to happen whether you've got Dish or DirecTV. You can always watch something on your DVR. If you've got DirecTV, you can use Signal Saver. Do not go out there and spend a whole lot of time inspecting the dish because, come on, it's 20 degrees below zero. That is not the temperature that humans are designed to enjoy. But then again, you knew that. The most important thing you need to know about signal loss due to weather, whether it's rain or snow or extreme cold, is it fixes itself. Do not worry. Do not go up on the roof. There's no need to call Solid Signal or DirecTV or Dish to try to get things fixed unless the temperature is risen and it's a nice sunny day, say 10 degrees above zero or warmer, and you still have no signal. There are some things that you can do, and you might want to call the folks at Solid Signal for that. 888-233-7563 is the number, and I always have to say that. They will take good care of you, but there's no reason to call if it's cold or snowy or rainy. It's just going to fix itself. That's one of the benefits to satellite television over traditional cable TV or even internet, because let's just say, for example, in a winter storm, something knocks over a cable line, cuts it. Well, you're out of luck until the cable company goes and reattaches that line. And that could be a day, it could be 2 days, whatever. They have to make sure it's safe for them to operate too. So they're not going to go out when it's 20 degrees out. I totally get it. So, you just kind of have to live with it until then. And you may not have cell service. Cell phones aren't necessarily going to work when it's 20 degrees below zero either, because the cell towers themselves, the batteries in them are not going to function. Their source of power is going to be there most of the time, but it's just not going to work when it's that cold. Nothing really is going to work the same when it's that cold compared to when it's a little bit warmer. On the other hand, as I said, the big takeaway here is that if you get satellite television, it just fixes itself automatically and you do not have to really think about it. Anything else, well, it doesn't. I suppose satellite internet also fixes itself in a case like that. I should point out that, Solid Signal is a Starlink and Viasat and HughesNet dealer. We can help you with that stuff. It's not really the topic of this week's podcast, but if you're interested in satellite internet that really works, I'll give you that number again, 888-233-7563. The bottom line here, folks, is good weather comes back, bad weather goes away, it eventually stops raining, it eventually stops snowing, and when it does, your satellite service is going to be restored. So do not worry about it. Anyway, that's about all I've got for the Solid Signal podcast for this week. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, leave a comment anywhere you get this podcast. It makes me look good to my boss. And consider shopping at solidsignal.com. They've got everything you need to live your best digital life. They sponsor this blog and therefore they pay my paycheck, and I'm extremely grateful for that. If you want the kind of service you thought you couldn't get anymore, well, try the folks at Signal Connect. They're the full service arm of Signal Group, and they will take great care of you. Same number, 888-233-7563, is going to get you to Signal Connect. Just tell them that you want full service and they will transfer you. Absolutely no problem. That's it for the podcast for this week. Stay cool, stay calm, go Lions, because after all, remember, we are based in the Detroit area. And I'll see you again next week on the Solid Signal Podcast.